The Chamber's long been involved on, can I use the word comprehensive immigration reform, thorough immigration reform, reasonable immigration reform. The first time we testified on this was before Senator Brownback from Kansas, no hotbed of radicalism, and Senator Kennedy from Massachusetts, which is. And that was back in the Friday before 9/11. My boss, Tom Donahue, testified with the president of La Raza, Riley Izaguirre, and the president of the AFL-CIO, John Sweeney. And again, this is the Friday before 9/11, on basically many of the elements that you hear Congress talking about today. At the end of that hearing, we were high-fiving each other, thinking, well, we would have a bill on the floor in 6 months, and we'd move on to other issues. Of course, 9/11 hit, and the country moved on, properly so, to focus on other parts of immigration and border security. 5 years later, the Senate took up another bill, which did pass the Senate by the vote of, I think it was about 5 or 6 votes, and then the House. And I'm putting this in. I'm put a little historical context here to sort of tell you where we are today. I think, in my view, which is in a much better shape. Back then, the House passed a bill basically to counter the Senate bill, which was a pure enforcement bill. Border security, yes, but it was really more focused on internal enforcement and things like changing misdemeanors to felonies and that sort of thing, and limiting due process. Nothing happened. And then, of course, under George Bush, once again, the Congress took up reform. And we came close. We had 59 votes in the Senate, and then when we couldn't get the 60th vote, many senators ran south, and the vote in the end looked much worse than it was. So here we are again, and basically the 4 elements being border security, toughening it up, legalization, what do you do about the undocumented, expanded temporary worker programs, and of course, tougher sanctions on employers who would continue to hire the undocumented if once legalization is passed, but also, frankly, just a tougher verification process that employers must follow when they're hiring anyone in this country. Expanded temporary worker programs, legalization, and E-Verify all add to border security and interior enforcement. They're all part and parcel of better security in this country. If you pursue legalization, you shrink the haystack to find out where the bad guys are, and you focus law enforcement resources. If you implement a sound temporary worker program, you eliminate the magnet of jobs because they're going to be for illegal immigration, because they're going to be filled for legal immigration, and legal immigration through a system by which people apply to come into the country, are checked out by the State Department or the Department of Labor, cleared, put through its national security clearance system, and then they come into the country and work. So it adds to national security. And obviously E-Verify, in which all workers have to be checked against a database, helps increase national security also, because it's very difficult for someone to come into the country and then not be able to work. Now it all has to sort of be weaved together in a web, but it can be done, and all these parts complement each other. So I guess when I hear this border security first, all I say is, okay, let's sit down and talk about that, and what does that really mean, and let's drill down on the details and how can we solve the problem. So now I'm going to put my Republican hat on for a second and just say, there were times on the Hill after I left when I met with very senior staff who said, Randy, why you worked up on the Hill, you worked for the Republican Party for all these years, why are you putting this hot potato in our lap? Everybody can just go along to get along, and what the heck. Well, that was 5 or 6 years ago, but the time is now to get this done. And we can continue to kick the can down the road, but all these problems will come back. And part of leadership is taking on tough issues. And I personally view it's the right thing to do for the Republican Party. I say that from my background. I know others might disagree in tough districts. But there's a way to get this done for the business community, for the nation as a whole, and for lots of other good reasons.